After I had gone to Memorial Day parade, I decided to stay out and enjoy the day. So I headed about 9 miles north of where the parade was to our local tourist lake town of Lake George, New York. And this is Shepherd's Park Beach that I sat in for a little while, ate a little lunch, and just enjoyed the scenery. And then I decided to take a walk around the lower end of Lake George. It starts in Lake George and ends way north. I think it's about a 32-mile lake. It's not very wide across, but it's pretty long. And this is the bottom of it. Later on, you'll see where Fort William Henry is at the base of this, which was an important place in the Revolutionary War battles. So I just started to take a walk around the shoreline, and they just have beautiful beach for the kids and boat rentals, parasailing, little cruises. If you look way across there is the big boats. I'll walk down there after this part. I just kept taking little panoramic shots. There's parasailing in the distance. There's the big cruise boats over on the side. And it was just a beautiful day. It was in the mid-60s, I would think. I needed a sweater when I sat in the shade, and that's a beautiful day to me. There you are in the distance. That's the Minnehaha and the Mohegan, and it looks like the Minnehaha is getting ready to go out on its cruise. I think it does like a couple-hour cruise into a certain place. There's the other direction looking back at the park I was just at. I think I'm out on the little observation deck. And they have a lot of restaurants that overlook the lake. These were along the sidewalk. It's a bunch of little sidewalk tiles that show the kinds of fish that are in this lake. And I thought that was kind of a neat little touch to the atmosphere. There's probably more than that, but that's the ones they have. And here I am getting closer to the end of the lake and just looking back at the beautiful mountains. And here comes a small little cruise ship back. It's called the Adirondack, I think. This is Memorial Day weekend, so there was quite a few people here, but it wasn't overwhelming with the crowds. It's not really full tourist season yet, and today is the beginning of the week after Memorial Day, which is called Americade weekend here. It's a motorcycle rally, and from what I understand, there's over 100,000 motorcycles that will be coming into this town over the next week. They're already starting to roll in. You'll see some motorcycles later on in this video. But there's the Adirondack docking. And I keep walking down around. There's this cute little garden area in the corner of it's almost by the intersection of where Lake George Beach Road goes down and continues down the main street of Lake George. This is a tribute to the French and Indian War that took place around here, and it's a really nice carving of a representation of that. We had The Last of the Mohegans was based on events around Cooper's Cave, which is in this area a little south of here, south of Lake George in South Glens Falls or Glens Falls. But this is a really nice carving that's been here for a few years now. It's right at the base of the lake. So now I've walked around to the base of the lake, and if you see in the distance there's Fort William Henry. I get another shot of that later, I think. And just more beautiful scenery. I was just soaking in the warm weather. It has been raining for months, it seems, and before it was raining for months, it was snowing for months. And everybody, I think, is just finally enjoying a nice chance to get outside and walk around. And this is my old stomping ground. I used to come up here in high school all the time. It's, like I said, only about 9 miles from the town I grew up in. So we would get dropped off here by our parents and picked back up. I didn't actually have any friends that had cars until maybe my senior year. So we would just get dropped off and picked up. We didn't have phones to call, so we just set a time and a location and made sure we were back there for when our parents came to pick us up. There's little monuments all over, and there's the shops across the street from the boats. And that is called the Pink Roof Ice Cream, and that's from my memory. And right there is a mini golf place called Around the World. And I think there's an around the United States, there's 2 mini golf courses in that same little area. And I couldn't resist just taking more pictures of the lake from the very bottom of it. This is called the Lake George, we call it the Battlegrounds. It's a state park. There's kites in the sky, that's why I zoomed in there. And this was a battlefield, actually, with the wars of the Revolution. And this is where we had our senior skip day in high school. We had a big picnic, and the principal came, so I don't know if it was so much of a senior skip day as a senior picnic day. There's some of the motorcycles rolling into town. This is a beautiful park, and I'm just at one end of it. It is a very large park with picnic areas and monuments all throughout it. Maybe I'll go there one day. But I just stood there and I went in a complete circle, and you can see it's just surrounded on all sides by mountains and hills, and it's just a beautiful location. There's the Fort William Henry, and you can see the parking lot is usually open for parking, but now they're getting vendors set up for the motorcycle rally. That's one of the strip malls, and there goes the Minnehaha out on its cruise for the day. They might do a lunch cruise. This was around 1:30, I believe. I've been on that, and I think my husband and I are going to go on one of the cruises this summer that goes up the length of the lake. I don't think all 32 miles of it, or 31 miles. I should have checked my facts before doing this video. But I just was enjoying the day. It was gorgeous. I was by myself. My husband was working. This is what the lake looks like from bottom to top. It's pretty thin but long, and this is just an area by the visitor center, which that is. And then this is the main street. It's just shops and more shops and little restaurants, all tied into the old buildings that used to be there. And then across the street we have more shops. There's the actual post office for the town of Lake George. That's the House of Frankenstein Wax Museum. That's kind of a cool place. It's a little creepy, but it's fun. And then this is more shops and cute little eateries along the way. And this is a little alley between some of the shops that leads down to the lake. And then we have Village Mall, which I'll also walk through a little bit. And at the end of it, you have a view of the lake. Every kind of shop you can think of in these malls, mostly geared towards tourists. I did not go in any single shop at all during this day. I wanted to be outside because it was so gorgeous. I did not want to waste any time inside, and I don't want to spend any money. I think I spent $8 that day just on lunch. And there's more motorcycles pulling into town. This is another view of Shepherd Park from the main street. It's really a beautiful park, and this fountain is gorgeous. There's bricks that were donated, purchased and donated to help fund the fountain. This fountain is at the front entrance of the park, and this park has always had concerts and craft fairs and all kinds of events. The original stage, well, might not have been original, but the stage that they've had there for many years burned down a couple years ago, and they have had some temporary stage there, and they still have concerts and all sorts of events. I had a beautiful day. It was gorgeous weather, beautiful scenery, and I became very relaxed just out taking a day to myself. I recommend it highly. It's good for relaxing, just to get out and about and enjoy.